Good morning, dear students. Welcome back in the online lecture series, and I am Dr. Savita Tidme. We have already started chapter number 3, that is plasma membrane, and from this chapter number 3, the last topic, that is functions of a plasma membrane, was remaining, and remaining all the points, that is structure of a plasma membrane, transport across the plasma membrane, even passive transport, active transport, that we have already studied in earlier few lectures. And now the functions will start with one by one. Okay, so the first function of the plasma membrane is transport across the membrane, right? So I have shown here a diagram in which the diffusion is shown, right? Then the facilitated diffusion, which with the help of the carrier molecules present in the plasma membrane, simple diffusion without any carrier molecule. Here is the diagram of active transport, which spends energy. ATP molecule is utilized for transportation of this biomolecule across the membrane. Now keep in mind this diagram. With the help of this diagram, we'll study how the transportation or transport of the molecules takes place across the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane, which allows the passage of the solvent but not of solute, is called as a semi-permeable. So we have already studied this. The plasma membrane is semi-permeable in nature because it allows the transport, that is movement of the water molecule, that is solvent, across the membrane, but solute molecules, they are not being passed directly through the membrane. Hence the plasma membrane is said to be selectively permeable. So a membrane which permits one substance to pass through more easily than other is said to be selectively permeable, right? So here in this case you can see this one. These molecules, say some we'll say X molecule is passing without any carrier molecule. So this molecule it passes easily across the membrane, but these molecules, they are not passes easily. They requires a carrier. Even in the next diagram, these molecules again along with the carrier, they requires energy so as to transport across the membrane. So plasma membrane allows easy passage of some molecule across it, whereas the some molecules, means other molecules, they are not easily passed through the membrane. So this type of, means this nature of the plasma membrane is called as a selectively permeable. So plasma membrane is what? It is selectively permeable, right? Okay, thus the membrane allows the passage of both solvent and solute across it, right? So molecule diffuses from a region of their higher concentration to the region of their lower concentration. So the difference in the concentration to a region of low, means a difference in the concentration level is said to be concentration gradient. So in this diagram it is shown the outside of the cell membrane. So this is the cell outside, this is cell inside. Outside of the cell membrane there is a more concentration of these biomolecules, okay, and inside the cell less concentration is there. So the side at which one, means to one side higher concentration is there, to another side lower concentration is there. So this is said to be the concentration gradient. This sets the concentration gradient across the plasma membrane, and most of the biomolecules, that is, means their diffusion takes place through the plasma membrane, they transported along the concentration gradient, means from their higher concentration to lower concentration without spending energy. So the difference in this concentration level is called as a concentration gradient. And osmosis is the simple diffusion, right? Osmosis is what? Is the simple diffusion of water, or we can say a solvent, across a membrane in response to the concentration gradient. You might have seen the cells, they get swell or they get imbibed because of the inward movement of the water molecule, right? So without spending energy, without needing any carrier water molecule, they get easily pass inside the cell membrane, means that is along the concentration gradient. And why this happen? Because if you keep some cell sample into the water, so outside the cell a huge amount of water is there as compared to cell inside. So inside the cell amount, that is concentration of water molecule, is obvious less. Hence what happened? the water molecule from cell outside enters into the cell inside, and that result in imbibition, cellular imbibition, or we can say increased size of the cell. So transport of the molecule across the membrane may be active or passive. So this active transport, okay, we have seen this is an example of a passive transport, though the carrier molecules are required, but without spending energy. The molecules, they get migrated from their higher concentration to their lower concentration with the help of carrier molecule present in the plasma membrane. But in case of an active transport, what happened? The molecules usually move from their concentration gradient. Okay, the molecule which move from their region of low concentration to the region of their higher concentration. That means against the concentration gradient. Right, in active transport, what happened? The molecules from their lower concentration migrate to their higher concentration, and as it is transported across the concentration gradient, means from lower to higher is across the concentration gradient. Hence, it requires energy to transport all these molecules across the concentration gradient. It requires energy. So, in passive transport, the passage of the molecule occurs through the membrane from a region of their higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration. So transport of the metabolite across the membrane along the concentration gradient takes place. So metabolites, these are said to be the metabolites, is again an example of the passive diffusion or the passive transport without use of carrier molecule, is said to be the diffusion, right, or simple diffusion. If carrier molecules are involved, though the metabolites are there which are need to be transported across the plasma membrane and some carriers are involved, then it is called as a facilitated diffusion. If no carrier molecules are involved, then it is called as a simple diffusion, right? And if energy is spent, then it is called as an active transport. So this is the one function, how the transport of the molecules takes place across the plasma membrane. Now the next function is cell recognition and adhesion. How the different chemicals, means say hormones are there, toxins are there, bacteria or other cells are there which comes in contact with the cell membrane, how they are detected, how the cell recognizes, yes, it is useful molecule, it need to get transported inside, or it should not be transported, or some carriers are involved, or energy need to spend. This is some kind of a recognition. No, cell used to recognize it. When, let's take an example, when some friend, okay, you go to college right now, as from last 1 year you guys are at home, right? So when you will come to college and you will meet a lot of people in the college, is it possible to identify each and every, you will just meet everyone just like as they are your friend? No, you will search for your friend, and when the friend will come in front of you, you will recognize, yes, this is my friend. So this is kind of a bonding, right? Other people, you will not tell them that they are my friend, everyone is my friend. No, because you have the selectivity, means you have specific friends. So such a kind of a recognition is also takes place at the cellular level. Even you also recognize your teachers, right? Your friends, your family members from the crowd. So this is again one kind of a recognition. So such a kind of a recognition is also takes place at the cellular level. So cell to cell recognition, in case of a best example we can study the mammalian leukocytes, right? Leukocytes are nothing but the WBCs, white blood cells, which are the fighters, or you can say the cells, immune cells, which used to fight against the bacteria, viruses. So they recognize as foreign cells like the bacteria and engulf them through the process of phagocytosis. So this is the glycoprotein, means these are the glycoprotein attached to the cell membrane, and these glycoproteins, they used to detect, means they function as a recognition molecule, they functions as a recognition molecule. So whenever some hormones, toxins, bacteria, they comes across to these glycoprotein molecules, they get attached with the glycoprotein molecules, and that confirmation, that is signal, means whether it is a hormone whether it is a toxin, bacteria, that going to be recognized by this glycoprotein molecules, and accordingly signals will be sent to cell inside, and from where it is transported to nucleus, right, for further processing. So if it is a hormone, so it will be taken inside accordingly. If it is a toxin, so cell will not going to take inside so easily, that hormones were taken. And if it is a foreign cell, that is a bacteria, so cell will shows a different action, like that. Okay, so the site for cell recognition are known to lie on the cell surface. So this is a plasma membrane to which attached glycoproteins and glycolipids, but the glycoproteins serves as a site for the cellular recognition. So the cells are recognizing the foreign substances, bacteria, viruses, hormones, toxins on their cell surface, right? Means on the plasma membrane, surface of the plasma membrane. So this is again cell recognition, and adhesion is an important function of a plasma membrane that has been conducted or carried out with the help of the glycoproteins present on the outer cell surface or a plasma membrane. Then the next function is antigen specificity. Now antigen specificity. So here I have shown some picture, that is Y-shaped structure is nothing but the antibodies which are present in our body, and this is star shape is nothing but the antigen, which is said to be a foreign material, maybe bacteria, maybe virus, maybe any other foreign body said to be antigen, right? So the glycoproteins which we just saw, this the glycoproteins which are embedded into the plasma membrane outer surface, right? So this glycoproteins on the surface of the cell membrane determines the antigen specificity of the cell. Yes, of course, because these glycoproteins are having the cellular recognition. They're going to detect whether it is a foreign substance, toxic substance, foreign material, like that. So these glycoproteins, they are going to detect the antigen specificity of the cell and the different blood group systems. This is one of the example. Different blood group systems are all based on the antigen properties of the erythrocytic cell membrane, because on the erythrocyte means RBCs on its cell membrane, some kind of a specific kind of a proteins are there, right? Or you can say a specific kind of the antigen is present. So this is just for example, if this is a cell RBC, as it is reddish in color, so we can correlate it. So it is a RBC, and on its surface this kind of specific kind of antigen, if it is there, and the structure of antigen going to vary into the A blood group because it has a specific structure. Again in the B, two types of antigen will be there. In O, no antigen will be there on this surface, like that. Means antigen specificity is going to detected by the glycoproteins present on the cell surface, and the ABO blood group system is based on this relationship between the antigens present on the RBCs and the antibodies present in the serum. So for this case, again the complementary antigen antibodies are present, same, that is A antigen and A antibody, they never exist in the human blood, otherwise the blood will get clogged itself, RBCs will get ruptured and the clotting takes place. So antigenic determinants on the surface of erythrocytes are mainly the glycolipids. Okay, so antigenic determinants on the surface of the erythrocytes, so they are mainly the glycolipids. Just we said that on the surface of the cell, that is plasma membrane, glycoproteins are there which serves as a antigen specificity, site of the antigen specificity. But on the surface of the RBCs, what is there? Glycolipids are there which serves as a antigen specificity site, means they have specific kind of antigens present on them and it can be detected with the help of the glycolipids. After that, the next function is a hormone transport, right? So here I have shown a secretory cell in which that hormone is said to be formed or it has been synthesized, then that hormone is released into the interstitial spaces or extracellular spaces, from which the hormone is taken through the simple diffusion. It is taken inside the blood vessel. Along with the blood, it goes to the all other part of the body and again through the plasma membrane of this blood vessel, it has been released to the target cell, and on the target cell receptors are there, specific, right, ligand specific receptors are there, which going to means the antigen, or you can say enzyme receptor complex formation takes place, or hormone receptor complex form. Then that hormone, means the information coded in the form of a hormone, is carried forward towards the nucleus, and accordingly this cell will behave, right? Okay, so this hormone controls the cellular metabolism. The hormone produced at the specific gland, which is going to regulate the target organism. So cellular metabolism is being regulated by this hormone, and the cell membrane contains the receptors. What cell membrane contains? Cell membrane contains receptors which recognizes a specific hormone and convey this information to the cell interior, right? And this stimulate the change in the plasma membrane, and accordingly the cell will show action, right? Okay. Then the next function is oxidative phosphorylation. Now this is quite a complex diagram, but you don't need to worry about it. Why? Because oxidative phosphorylation is only related to the ATP synthesis. So this is all complex diagram. You don't need to think of it. Only focus on this formation of the ATP. Okay, so the inner membrane of the mitochondria, means mitochondria. See, outer mitochondrial membrane, this is cytoplasm in which the mitochondria is present. Mitochondria shows two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane, which is again being separated by means of intermembrane space. Okay, so electron transport chain is present on the mitochondrial membrane, inner membrane, and then through that electron transport chain, what happened? The ATP molecules are synthesized through the step-by-step process. Let's see how it is. So the inner membrane of the mitochondria and the plasma membrane of the bacteria, because bacterial inner membrane, inner plasma membrane, and mitochondrial inner plasma membranes, they are quite similar in their action. So the plasma membrane of a bacteria contains electron transport chain. So this is said to be the electron transport chain, which plays an important part in cell respiration. So this chain consists of a series of components. So here we have said the complex 1, then coenzyme is required, complex 2 is there, which is further going to carry out further processing of the biomolecule, complex 3, cytosine C, then complex 4, right? Like that, different complex molecules are present into the inner membrane of the mitochondria. And these different components which can transport electron step by step. So electrons from the substrate pass down the chain, result in the reduction and oxidation of each component, right? So these electrons from the substrate molecules, they pass down slowly across this electron transport chain, and that result in either the oxidation, means first of all the reduction of the component substrate, and then it has been oxidized, right? And during this process there is a decrease in the free energy, about half of which is been utilized for the synthesis of ATP. So this process is, means the process of synthesis of ATP molecule is called as a oxidative phosphorylation. But for this synthesis, again the energy is required. Okay, hence this NADH plus H is further get reduced to NAD. So reduction takes place, and then further oxidation also takes place. So then the oxidized molecule, energy rich molecule is formed. Okay, ATP. So this is nothing but the oxidative phosphorylation, which takes place on the inner plasma membrane of the bacteria and inner membrane of the mitochondria. Okay, so after that, let's move ahead and see one more function of the plasma membrane, that is endocytosis and exocytosis. So the process of endocytosis and exocytosis, which we have already studied in detail, right? So let's see as a function of the plasma membrane, endocytosis and exocytosis. So here the diagram is shown, exocytosis and endocytosis. This is cell exterior, means extracellular fluid is there. This is a plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is there. Then this is cytoplasm, right? Inner membrane of the cell is shown. So outer membrane, inner membrane, and cell exterior. Here it will be the cell interior. All right. So in certain cells, endocytosis is an important activity in which the material is transported into the cell, right? So the material which is transported into the cell is one of the important activity taking place on the cell surface. It includes two processes, namely the phagocytosis and the pinocytosis, right? So endocytosis has been divided into two main types, phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Means what? Phagocytosis is what? Intake of a solid material by the cell through the plasma membrane, invagination of the plasma membrane. So that is the phagocytosis. And pinocytosis is what? It is intake of a liquid material across the plasma membrane is said to be pinocytosis. It is also called as a cellular drinking, right? So through these two processes, the endocytosis has been taken place, or it has been conducted, and the biomolecules, they are taken inside the plasma membrane. Now after that, the exocytosis is a process exactly reverse to that endocytosis, and in this exocytosis process, the membrane lined material is removed from the cell. Okay, so like we can take an example here, just like hormone secreting cells. Okay, this is a secretory cell which is going to synthesize the hormones or some kind of a special substances in it, and that material is, or that hormone is transported to all other body parts and going to regulate, means that hormone is going to regulate the activity of every cell of our body, right? Okay, every cell of our body. Now what happened? How these hormones, they are released to cell exterior, and it has been picked up inside the blood vessels, right? So this has been conducted, this has been carried out with the help of a process, exocytosis. Now in case of this secretory cells, so the hormone which are produced inside the cell, means they are released inside the cells in the form of a membrane bound vesicles. These vesicles later on moves towards the plasma membrane, and what happened? They get fused with the plasma membrane, right, from the inner plasma membrane. Again, it forms a membrane bound vesicle that travels the intermembrane space, or the space between the two plasma membrane, and then it gets fused to the cell exterior, right? That is the outer plasma membrane. Means this membrane is remain attached with the outer plasma membrane. Whatever content inside, means whatever content packed in the form of the vesicle, that content, fluid, hormone, whatever it is been released outside the cell through the exocytosis process. So endocytosis and exocytosis are the two important processes carried out or takes place on the plasma membrane, which are useful for intake of the food material as well as release of some material synthesized by the cell itself, right? So this is endocytosis and exocytosis, important function of the plasma membrane. Now next function is the chemoreception. So chemoreception, molecules associated with the cell membrane, right? Molecules associated with the cell membrane respond to a variety of stimuli, and chemoreception, or the responses to chemical stimuli, is shown by varieties of organisms from bacteria to mammals, right? Okay. So as to explain this, I need one diagram. Let me show you the same diagram again. Yes. So glycoproteins and glycolipids are there, which act as a chemoreceptors for the cell membrane, right? Chemoreceptor for the cell membrane. So bacteria, though they are present in the water, or unicellular organism, when they are present in the water, chemical changes or the nature of the water if changed to toxic like that, so it has been detected by the receptors present on its cell surface, right? म्हणूनच काय होतं की all these bacteria or animals, if the water turns to toxic or dirty, they get away, they get migrated from that water. Similarly, on the cell surface, glycoproteins are there which used to detect the chemical nature of the substances which come across to them, right? Exactly. So chemoreception is again one of the important function of the plasma membrane. Okay, after that the last function is the transmission. Transmission, here synaptic transmission will discuss. So transmission of the nerve impulses takes place at the membrane surface of the nerve cell, is again important function of the plasma membrane of the nerve cell especially. So say this is one nerve cell, this is another nerve cell, and the message, chemical signal is being transmitted from one nerve cell to another nerve cell. Actually, this diagram will explain the chemoreception as well as the transmission, because the chemical signal is being received at the dendrites of another cell, nerve cell, through the synaptonemal complex. Okay, now say this sending neuron or this neuron is going to send some kind of a impulses, some kind of a chemical signal, and that signal is passed through the synapse, that is a gap exists between two neurons, which is then perceived by the receiving neurons, and accordingly it will further continue to pass this change to the next neuron. So what exactly happened when the synaptic transmission or when the information is being conducted through the plasma membrane of this nerve cell? So neurotransmitter substances are there which is being secreted, produced by this nerve cells. Neurotransmitter substances are there. These neurotransmitter substances come and fuse on the plasma membrane, that is on the axon, means end of the axon, and then this neurotransmitter substances, they're released into the synaptonemal or you can say they released into the synapses. And what happened, this neurotransmitter substance is going to travel the synapse, temporary bridges formed by the time which conduct this neurotransmitter substances, means coded information in it, to the next cell right here, and then it has been received by the receptors present on the next cell, and then this information is again conducted further. Okay, information is conducted further towards the cellular level, it has been carried out, and hence the synaptic transmission or conduction of impulses is one of the important role played by the plasma membrane of the nerve cells. Say for example, one very interesting example we'll take in this case. If someone pinch you, okay, you just watching TV or playing alone, and you are very concentrated in that game or watching TV, and someone just pinch you or just pin you, then what will happen? The cell into that area where the pinch is done, cell will get activated, means the nerve endings present into that area will going to receive that changes or the pressing or like that, right? So accordingly the neurotransmitter substances, or you can say the signal, is transmitted immediately from that point to the next cell, to the next cell, to the next cell, towards the brain. And from the brain, reflex action is also conducted very rapidly, and within a few seconds you just pull your hand, you will take out your hand from that area, right? So this is what, this is a transmission of impulses, and this takes place with the help of membrane potential, or you can say this has been carried out as a function of the plasma membrane of the nerve cells. It never happens like if someone pinch you, if someone just pierce a pin into your skin, then also you will keep your hand to that position. No, if this is done, if this is happened, that means your nervous system is not working properly. The reflex action must be there, and this indicate the nervous system is functioning properly, and the signal is being transmitted properly towards the brain, and from the brain reflex action is being conducted, and you just pull your hand out of that area. So this is what one of the kind of a synaptic transmission or transmission of impulses across the plasma membrane. So dear students, now we have studied all the functions of plasma membrane in detail: transmission, endocytosis, hormone receptor or hormone reception, as well as the chemoreception. All the functions we have studied in detail. So you study well for the internal examination. Okay. And this chapter, that is plasma membrane, is now completed. In next lecture, we'll be studying chapter number 2, that is the biochemical techniques in cell biology. Okay.